Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Black Thunder, Unbeaten, middleweight, Caoimhin Agyarko. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, Danny. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Where are you at the moment? You just at home?
Yeah, I'm in camp in London. Yeah.
How's that going? What sort of stage are you at? Have you got a date lined up?
I do have a date. Can't confirm just yet. But I've been in camp for a very long time. Been in camp for about 8 weeks now. So everything's going well. Got a fight date. I'll be fighting for my first title for the WBC International. So I can't wait.
Are you allowed to tell us, or do you know who against, or is that still confidential at the moment?
I don't know who against. I've had four opponents turn the fight down. So it's one of them things. Just waiting to get an opponent confirmed. I think we've two names that we're offering the fight to. I'll not name them just in case they do turn it down. But yeah, we're struggling at the moment to kind of get an opponent.
Has that been an issue throughout your professional career? Because you are a puncher, you do have a great amateur pedigree. Has it been hard to match you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for the Jez Smith fight, and even my last fight, it was very, very tough to get opponents. I've mentioned before, like for the Jez Smith fight, we offered former British title holders, world title challengers, and stuff like that, Commonwealth champions and stuff like that. We offered them the fight and they turned it down. It's not to say that there isn't any middleweights out there that will fight me, but it's also about getting me the right fights at the right time and the right progression fights. And we are offering unbeaten fighters. We are offering well experienced fighters, and some of them are turning it down. So it has been quite hard.
You mentioned Jez Smith there. Obviously, since you guys fought, he's made a good account of himself in a number of fights. Obviously, beat Ben Ridings on a Sky Sports show, and most recently dropped Caoimhin Agyarko a couple of times out in Spain. Looked very unlucky not to get a better rub of the green out there. Does that kind of reflect well on you, do you feel?
Definitely. Listen, I don't feel like anyone give me credit for the Jez Smith performance. Although I didn't think it was my best performance, that in terms of who it was, they didn't give me credit for it. But I didn't really care because I knew how good Jez was, and that's showing. I think he shouldn't have been stopped. Was it last weekend or weekend before? I don't think he should have been stopped. And to drop Cameron is twice is a statement. You know what I mean? It could have went either way, but if the referee didn't jump in, so I mean, it shows how good a win it was for me. But we know Jez. Anyone who knows boxing knows Jez is a good fighter. So.
You say about it not being your best performance. I think people tend to forget when an opponent comes in at short notice, it's also a short notice change of opponent for the house fighter, if you like. Yeah,
definitely. For that fight we had we meant to fight Mark Kerr for the Celtic title, and he had pulled out. A lot of people don't know, and I haven't. I'm not one to make excuses or anything like that, but a lot of people don't know that I went into that fight with 4 torn ligaments in my right hand. I hurt my hand 2 weeks out. I had a lot of personal issues. I just broke up with my ex, and my manager and my coach both wanted to send me home and not fight. So a lot of people don't see what goes behind closed doors and in big fights like that. Do you know what I mean? As well as I had to take the fight on 2 weeks' notice and adopt to a new opponent as well. So that all plays its part in fights, but it's all learning for me as well.
And without meaning to kind of pry too much, are the personal issues okay now? And how's your hand as well?
Personal issues are completely fine. I've had no problems this camp. Hands completely fine. I'm performing that well that Alan Smith my coach Al had to send me home last week because we were peaking too soon. And I've never been happier. I've no hands issues. I'm performing in the gym, and everything's just going well for me, so I can't complain.
What did you make of last week's British middleweight title fight? Obviously, Denzel Bentley, brave effort, but came up short against Felix Cash. What did you make of the fight?
Do you know what? I was stuck in two minds whether Denzel's awkwardness would be able to be enough against Cash, or would Cash Cash just steamrolled through him like he did, and I thought it could have played out that way. I think Cash showed how good he is. Although I don't know, it looked like something wasn't right with Bentley that night. He just looked all over the place, and whether that was just Cash not allowing him to settle, then so be it. But he didn't look technically good that night or something. But fair play to Cash, he showed how good he is, showed how strong he is, and it was a good win for him.
You're obviously fighting in your next one for the WBC International title. Do you see that as your main route towards, world title shot, world class through those WBC rankings?
Yeah, definitely. I've mentioned multiple times that I don't want to go down the British route. I don't want to go down the Commonwealth route or the European. That's not. I didn't get into professional boxing to become them to win them belts. I got in it to become a world champion. Now, I have stated if I have to go down that route to get to a world title, no doubt about it that I will. But if I can go down a different route, I will. And do you know what? It's not. It's like I've seen a lot of people saying, and Denzel was one of them, saying that going down the domestic route's a lot harder. And it may be so. Going down the domestic route's a lot harder, but I'm not a domestic fighter. I'm not British. I'm Irish. Do you know what I mean? And fighting for a British title doesn't really mean much to me. It's not a goal of mine. Though if I have to pick it up, I will.
It's good that you're willing to if it comes to it. Not only have you had a great camp in London, the early part of Billy Joe Saunders' camp for Canelo, you were obviously drafted in as a chief sparring partner and training alongside him as well. You've obviously worked with him in the past. What was this camp like compared to previous ones where you've worked with Saunders? I'm guessing it was a whole other level given the magnitude of the fight.
It was very unfortunate for me and Billy's sparring partners. He's in great shape. I learned a lot. It was top quality sparring, very competitive. But Billy's in unbelievable shape, and obviously it brought the best out of me as well. But yeah, it was a great experience, and it was just something new for me, something different.
How long were you out there with him for, and how much do you do your own kind of training at the same time as helping him out?
Yeah, I was only out there for 2 weeks. I was meant to go to Vegas, but that kind of fell through just with COVID restrictions and me having my own fight and having to put that first. But it was just the same. My strength coach is out there with Billy out in Vegas, and he was out in Spain. So I was able to work with my strength coach and do my strength work out there. I was still doing pads and bag work. I was just training alongside Bill whatever session she had in. I was doing the exact same. So it didn't really affect me that much in terms of not being able to do my own thing.
Has it affected you? Obviously, Cam still being out there in Vegas now, whereas you're back home.
Listen, not really. I've got a very good relationship with Cam, and training with him is unbelievable. So we stay in contact every day. But there's someone else in Cam's gym, Jake, who works alongside him, that is training me. Cam will send him my program, and it's just the same. Do you know what I mean? It's just Cam's not here, but it's the same program. Or I'll send him every sessions that I'm doing, and he'll tell me what to do. So it's just the same.
And having worked with Billy more than once in the past, what differences, if any, do you see in him this time around compared to previous camps where you've been involved?
Mentally, he's just there. Do you know what I mean? He's in the best shape of his life. I mean, you can see that from the photos. Whenever I was out in Spain, which was probably 7 weeks ago, he was in the best shape then. Best shape that he's ever been in. He was only 6-7 kilo over then, which you never see from Billy Joe. So I think mentally he's in the right place, physically he's in the right place, and he's given his all to knowing that he has to go out there and perform, and he's left no stone unturned.
Was there any element of you being asked to kind of emulate or mimic Canelo, or were you just go and do your own thing?
It was just go in and do your own thing. I think I wouldn't really appreciate if someone asked me to change my style to benefit them. Do you know what I mean? I'm me. I fight my own style, and if it's good enough for you, it's good enough. If it's not, it's not. It's one of them things. But there was certain times where Mark Tibbs would say that that's exactly what we need from you. Can you do a bit more of that? Do you know what I mean? So It wasn't necessarily, can you do this, can you do that? It was just encouraged me to do this, do what I was doing, but just a bit more so.
An obvious question, but how do you feel he matches up with Canelo, style-wise, especially?
I think he's Canelo's worst nightmare. If you look at the Alexander Lara fight, I thought, I'm a massive fan of Canelo. Like I've watched him throughout the years. So if you look at that fight, I personally thought he lost it by 3 rounds. If you look at the Mayweather fight, anyone who's a good boxer, you look at the Austin Trout fight was very close, another southpaw. So I feel like Billy Joe has the ability and the awkwardness and stuff to give him trouble. Listen, it's not going to be an easy fight for Billy Joe, but in no way is it going to be an easy fight for Canelo Alvarez either. But if Canelo goes out and beats Billy Joe convincingly, he just proves to everyone how good he is, because I feel like Billy Joe's the one to beat him. And if not, then I don't think there's going to be anyone that beats Canelo Alvarez.
Being involved, albeit only for 2 weeks, but being involved in a camp for a fight like that, did it further whet your appetite to get to that level yourself?
Insanely. It's motivated me even more so. It's crazy. Like I've since then I've trained a lot harder. It's just shown me what I need to do to be at that level. And that's the level I want to be at. Do you know what I mean? So I know that that I have to put the work in to get there, and sparring and holding my own against Billy Joe is the first step to show me that I do have world-class potential. Do you know what I mean? And as long as I get the right fights and at the right stages of my career, then there's no doubt that I can be a world champion.
And is there a sense that you bring some of that knowledge or impetus back to your gym as well? So although, you're not going to take over, you've got a training team, but do you kind of input from what you've learned out there?
Yeah, definitely. Listen, in the iBox gym, we all help each other. We all watch each other spawn and even give each other advice in the corner, even though owls are. So if there's anything that I've brought back from there, I'll try and help anyone in the gym with the bit of advice that or experience that I've learned out there. Do you know what I mean? It's the same, like I was training in Belfast last week with Ryan Burnett, and I'll bring that stuff back and tell Al what we were working on, and if Al thinks it's good enough, we'll put it in the training and work on the pads and stuff like that.
How is Ryan getting on?
He's going on well. Obviously he owns his own gym and stuff now. He's personal training and doing a bit of boxing classes. It's unbelievable for me to be able to train back home with Ryan and then come over to camp. Ryan's got an unbelievable boxing brain. Technically was unbelievable as well. So to have him to help me out back home, it's unreal, because he's just teaching me that not only technically how to be good, but teaching me how to have a world champion mentality in the ring. Do you know what I mean? So everything's, when we're doing the pods, everything's just like as if you're on a fight. So it's unreal for me.
Although it's a bittersweet subject, how much more do you feel he could have achieved if he hadn't been forced to retire?
So much more. Ryan's one of my favorite fighters to watch. I think it'd have been a 2-weight, 3-weight world champion. He was unreal. I was actually watching one of his highlight clips the other day off his Instagram and just thinking to myself, like, how good he was, and it's a shame that his career was cut short. But listen, he became a unified world champion and showed how good he was. So there's no doubt that he could have achieved a lot more.
Now, you've always said you want to be Ireland's first black world champion. Carl Frampton obviously went for 3-weight glory and fell just short and is now retired. Great career, of course. Is that a goal of yours as well? Because Ireland's never had a 3-weight world champion.
No, it's not. A lot of people ask me what is my goal. I want to be retired before I'm 29, 30, 31 max. I want to achieve what I want to achieve and get out of this sport. I want to be Ireland's first black world champion, but that's not to say that if I achieve that before I'm 28, 29, I might set new goals and dreams. Do you know what I mean? I might want to become a unified or a 2-weight world champion, and so be it. For right now, I don't look too far into the future. I want to be Ireland's first black world champion. That's my main priority, and I'm working towards that. Once I achieve that, then I'll set new goals. Or if I feel like it's time to call it quits. I'll call it quits. But yeah, I want to be Ireland's first world champion. Defend it a couple times, and that's my goal and main priority right now.
Great stuff. Really, really appreciate your time. Very best luck for the rest of the camp, and I look forward to the fight announcement.
Thanks very much, Danny. Take care.
Take care.